Namaste. My name is Kirti, and on behalf of Himalayan Yoga Association, I welcome you all to this online teacher training course. I am a teacher here at Himalayan Yoga Association, and I will be taking you through the concepts and details of the human body and yoga altogether. Let's hope you enjoy this course. Let's start.
Namaste and welcome back to the online yoga teacher training course. In the previous session, we tried to understand the various types of joints available to the human body. In this session, we are going to understand the most complicated joint present in the human body, which is the synovial joint. I will go ahead and try to explain to you the entire anatomy and the structure of a generic synovial joint. But before that, I need you to come sit with me as we chant the Gayatri Mantra together. Once again, develop this habit of chanting a mantra at least more than once in a day, because at the end of the day, mantras, they also remain yoga, another form of yoga, another part of yoga, something that you will need to learn one way or the other. If not now, then in the later stages of becoming a yoga teacher. Apart from that, the very important reason why you should chant and learn these mantras is because these mantras, they have been created to work on your mind. These mantras, they have been created to calm your mind. So a lot of times, and especially in the modern times, people are suffering from a lot of mental problems. It is because of these mantras that you'll be able to cope up with the stress of everyday life. So once again, let's start. Adopt the meditative posture, activate Chin Mudra. Calm down your mind by slowly breathing in and out. Relax yourself. Slow down everything. Slow down your breath. Slow down your thought process. Stop doing anything and just be yourself in this present moment. Absorb the environment around you and allow your inner self to prosper as you slowly, simply breathe. Maintain your eyes closed, because only when you have your eyes closed can you really look into yourself, look into your inner self. Now slowly bring your hands in front of your chest, Namaskara Sthiti or prayer pose. Touch the heart center with the back of your thumb. Keep the chest open very proudly and with a lot of gratitude towards the universal truth. Let's chant the Gayatri Mantra. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Having absorbed the vibration of the mantra, without opening your eyes, please let's start rubbing our palms and create some energy between our hands. Now cover your eyes first and transfer this energy to your eyes. Massage your face, the back of your neck, and finally anywhere else you wish to transfer this energy to. Before opening your eyes, once again, join your palms in front of your chest, bow down to your fingertips. With a few blinks, open your eyes and welcome the day once again. I hope by doing these mantras every day, by chanting these mantras at the beginning of every class, I hope you too are feeling a certain change in your mind and your body. These mantras, even though they're just vocal in nature, but they're very powerful instruments of change. Just because of the help of these mantras, legacies can be changed, your future and your present can be changed. I hope you will also implement the usage of mantras in your practice, in your teachings as well. But for that, you need to know the difference in your own life as well. Anyway, coming back to the topic. Yesterday, I told you about the three different types of joints. The fixed joints, the joints are available in the skull, different bones fused together, about 20 different bones in the head itself fused together to form the protective layer that covers the entire head or covers the entire brain as such. The second type of joint is the cartilaginous joint, present in case of the rib cage. Cartilaginous joint is basically a type of joint which connects different bones coming together with the help of cartilage, allowing very partial but involuntary movement or flexibility. The third type of joint available in the human body is called as the synovial joint or the freely movable joint. The synovial joints are really the joints which are coming to your mind anytime you try to interact with the outside world, even the simplest of movements, whether you're dancing, whether you're doing asanas, whatever you're doing, these joints make everything easy. These joints, even though they come with their own limitations, but these are the joints which make life interesting for us. Let's go ahead and understand what makes these synovial joints so effective and how are we able to do so much with them as compared to the fixed joint or the cartilaginous joint. Here, if you follow this diagram right here, you'll see that there are two bones. Just take the example of, let's think of this as a normal knee joint minus the patella bone. So this could be one of your femur bone and this could be the tibia bone as it is coming together to form the knee joint as it is. There is a very thin layer of periosteum which is covering the bones in all directions and not just the joints in the area. Actually, this periosteum is covering each and every part of the bone except for the part where the joint cavity exists. All the bones in the human body, they are covered with the periosteum, which is a connective tissue used for further intelligence and further lubrication and protection of the compact structure of the joint. If you see that this periosteum is running through the entire bone, but it does not cover the area where the joint cavity exists. Periosteum ends where articular cartilage starts. Obviously, periosteum is not enough as a joint cavity, as a lubricant. That is why it stops at the beginning or of either ends of the bone at the beginning where the articular cartilage begins. It's a very intelligent structure as it is. This red thing on the outside is the ligament. The ligament, as I told you, is the connective tissue which joins one bone to the other. The purpose of the ligament is to stabilize the joint cavity or the synovial capsule. The purpose of the entire ligament is to provide more strength, one more layer of protection, and of course, strength and stability to the joint itself. Without the ligament, definitely this whole joint would be much less stable and more prone to accidents beyond recovery as well. We do not pay much heed to the ligaments in the human body, but believe me, without these ligaments, our life would be a walking hell, in which you may not even be able to walk. So, if you see that this red thing is the ligament which is on the outside connecting bone 1 with bone 2 and of course offering protection to the inside components of the synovial joints. The black outlining right here is the fibrous layer of the joint cavity, again the purpose of which is to protect and provide support stability to the synovial membrane, which is represented here with a red dotted line. So three different layers in this case, and this is just in case of because we're discussing the knee joint. In case if we're discussing other joints, it may or may not have ligaments, it could also have tendons, It could also have just muscles covering the entire joint capsule, just because depending on the part of the body that we are functioning, that we are working with at that time, and how the body is structured and designed as it is. In this case, we have the ligaments. So, the synovial membrane, which is on the inside of the fibrous layer, is the main component of the entire synovial joint. It is because of the synovial membrane that it is able to secrete and absorb the synovial fluid inside the joint cavity. Think of it as a bubble. Think of the entire synovial cavity or the joint capsule as a bubble in which there is always going to be a release or absorption of synovial fluid with the synovial membrane. Now, this synovial membrane, it is a very, I won't say it's a very strong structure as compared to a ligament or the fibrous layer on the outside. If you have to measure the depth or the length of or the width of the synovial membrane, then it would be about the size of a human hair, which means that it does not really offer much protection, but that is not the purpose of the synovial membrane. The purpose of the synovial membrane is to release and absorb the synovial fluid which is present in between these two bones inside the joint cavity. Now, what you need to understand is, if you'll see right here as well, then bone 1 is not touching bone 2 because there needs to be space for the synovial fluid inside. Also, the articular cartilage right here, in this case, in case of the knees, it's called as meniscus. The articular cartilage is present just in case if the synovial membrane is not absorbing or releasing the synovial fluid effectively, then the articular cartilage restricts grinding of the bones by providing ample cushioning or comfort whenever these bones they come in contact with each other, which in a healthy person's joints should not happen. And that is why you must have come across situations like, generally people who are beyond their 40s, old people, they suffer from problems such as arthritis, osteoarthritis and such. Osteoarthritis is basically a condition in the major joints in the human body where these bones, they start grinding against each other just because the synovial fluid is not functioning, the synovial membrane is not doing its job, right? And that is why these two bones, they often meet each other, and the first damage that they incur is the damage of the articular cartilage. After the articular cartilage has worn off, do these bones, they start grinding against each other, which starts reshaping the joint and further inflammation of the joints, and of course it restricts movements, and that's how people tend to complain about knee pains or other joint pains a lot. All because of the synovial fluid, which tells you that the purpose of the synovial fluid inside this joint cavity is that of a lubricant. Yes, the synovial fluid is present as a lubricant. The texture of the synovial fluid would not be much different than the texture of your mucus. Gooey, thick, gel-like structure, not very runny and not very loose either. But the only purpose and the most important thing that the synovial fluid does is it keeps the articular cartilage lubricated enough and absorbs the shock. So basically, the entire purpose of the synovial fluid is to absorb any shocks, just in case if you're jumping or you're doing any other physical activity with your joints. Lubrication of the two different bones which are meeting each other so that they do not grind against each other and do not cause any damage to each other. Of course, you understand how gravity and bones and how gravity and weight, they have a very harsh effect on the different bones, on the different joints of the human body. If you do not have a healthy synovial membrane, naturally you're going to experience inflammation and pain in your joints. Apart from that, this is everything you need to understand about the synovial joints. The synovial joint is obviously not as simple as just having a cartilage between two different bones and allowing restricted movements. It is a very complex structure. Without the understanding of synovial joints, you would not be able to make great yoga teachers as well, because this is something that you will work with mostly. Understand this, the synovial joints are the reason why we are able to move like we do, whether we are doing any asanas, whether we are dancing, whether we are doing any sort of exercises. And because of the synovial joint, are we able to understand the limitations of various parts of a human body, as well as what we need to do in order for us to exceed the limits. This is everything you need to know about the anatomy of the synovial joints. I hope you enjoyed today's lecture. I hope you found it informative enough. I will come again next time with the various types of synovial joints present in the human body. But until then, I'll see you again. Thank you and namaste.